Youngstown, Ohio, but that's not just same DNA. So, anyway, any questions about yesterday? The day before, rather, when I was speaking, or maybe even some of that Coco. Did you figure who is the John Doe after all? Who is the John Doe that Winnie talked about?
No, we didn't talk about that.
You didn't talk about John Doe?
We started the Romans 7.
Oh.
We didn't really get it, so we didn't get to like really who it was and such. She really didn't talk.
Winnie's got
hardly
some
anything
weird,
about
odd ways of, but very visual. You know, you need some shocker to get you, get your attention. Because you get going and you think you know what's going on, and you read somebody's this and somebody's that, and before you know it, you're off on a man's trail, and now and then God sends, odd ways to wake you up. Winnie's kind of very prophetic, and she sees things from that, start point of view, and it's good. Okay, any questions about what we talked about the first day? Because I just want to make sure that we're getting something and we're not getting more confused, or I'm wide open on any questions, because I personally have a lot of questions, and I always ask questions, and the Lord always helps me. So feel free to ask anything you like, and then I'll start with a very, very unusual topic. I have never heard anybody speak on it still. 30 years later in ministry, I've heard a lot of sermons. But this topic is not addressed, and I can see why, because it's kind of a weird topic that in the Old Testament was very, very strict. If you're a Jew, you have to be what? Male Jew?
Circumcised.
There you go. But of course, we don't want to talk about that because we're not in the Old Testament. Thank you, Jesus. We're not there. We moved on. However, like everything else in the Old Testament, even though it's moved on and we have a new deal going on, but much of the Old Testament dramatic stuff that happened are prototypes, the types and shadows of what Jesus will come and Jesus will do, and speaks of primarily his salvation. The Old Testament is preparation for the real salvation to hit the human race through Jesus, the Savior. While in the Old Testament they had a partial deal, it was very complicated how it works, because they were not born again, as we know it. And not being born again, you're just not really truly son, daughter of God. So only Jesus truly made it possible for us to be born again, or to be sons and daughters of the living God. Bone of his bones, flesh of his flesh, if you like. Really the same substance that is God, and the Spirit of God is actually inside every single believer. I hope you know that. I hope you are wondering, God, if that's true, then I want to know all about it, because I say if it's true, I know it's true, but you must ask. If it's not clear to you, say, Lord, I'm not totally clear about this, but this crazy Bulgarian says that I'm like, my new me is made of the same stuff as you. I want to know about it, and know everything about it, because I want to know how much in me is you in you now. How much of that? It's extremely important that we pursue that revelation. Want to know, and the Lord has promised to enlighten the eyes of our spirit so we could really grasp what's the inheritance, What are we? What have we inherited? Who are we? And really be clear. The clearer you are on this issue, is the more and more difficult will be for the enemy to deceive you, to lie to you, to give you a mistaken identity. You know, there's identity theft going on out there, not just after your money, but there's spiritual enemies. The thief wants to steal. He cannot steal you necessarily from God, but he can steal God out of you, in the sense that he can steal the revelation. He can steal the revelation of who you are and to the Lord, and who he is to you, your intimate relationship, your rightful relationship, and what you're entitled to, and who you really are. And after all, Jesus died so he could put his identity, his spirit, his DNA spiritually, so to speak, his DNA inside every believer. And as I finished last session about Christ being in you, and therefore the enemy has no more right to be in you.
Yeah.
No more legal right. And the moment you know who is he who is in you, Christ in you, then that's the very moment you come to this bright light of this open space where you see that the wicked one cannot no longer mess with you. You're not an open game for darkness. You're not an open game for the enemy, And so you should expect to have no darkness in you at all, whatsoever. So, whatsoever. Completely uncompromising, just like there was nothing of the enemy in Jesus when he walked on earth. He established a new existence inside a human being. First human being ever walked on earth, that Satan had nothing in him. Absolutely nothing. Never for 1 second had the enemy any kind of stronghold in Jesus' mind, Jesus' body, emotion, affection, soul, nothing. Perfect human being, we're perfect God inside a body, an imperfect body, in the sense that, his body was physically, if he would be, if he died at the 80s or 100, maybe it would have crumpled, the body might have gotten old and all that. I'm not going to speculate. But he certainly was a perfection in its purest form inside a human body. Hallelujah. And so, even though our bodies are suffering due to the fall, that doesn't mean that we should be suffering due to the fall. In the sense that the curses of the enemy, the curse of the law, all that system, it should no longer affect you emotionally, spiritually, mentally. Physically, unfortunately, our bodies are going to be laid aside someday, and we get a new glory body. So the redemption doesn't go as far as, but there have been cases like Elijah, his body didn't see death. God took him physically as well. So there are cases. Enoch, 300 years, lived in one body, and God took him. Body, soul, spirit, God ate him up for breakfast one day. Just liked him too much. One too many kisses. Mortality may be swallowed by life.
Yeah.
So to be swallowed, you must first, somebody got to drink it, eat you, drink it, and then swallow you. So God swallowed Enoch whole, disappeared. Someday, if the Lord comes soon in the cold rapture, we'll all be like gone, But other than that generation, in the normal case, the body is going to slowly decay due to the fall. It doesn't mean that you should be dysfunctional. I have total clarity on that. You could be, you can grow in age, but doesn't mean that you go dysfunctional. You can stay functional. Many preachers have proved that God can quicken even your mortal body. He can quicken it. He can make it useful and connected. And just like if you know older people who run or who exercise, they're still in shape. They look a lot better than people who don't do that. So in essence, expect your physical body to be functioning for you. Set it out that way now. Set your body clock in the calendar to be functional all the way to the Lord takes you, So you have a book, all your day timers are scheduled all the way. You don't have downtime and just, the last 10 years, I'm in folks' home. No.